financial planning scare you? If you're watching this video, then there are high chances that either you have not made your financial plan, or if you have made one, you have failed to implement it. Most of the people don't make financial plan at all because they feel that making a financial plan is a complex and tedious task and it needs expert knowledge. There are few people who actually make a financial plan, but they're not able to implement it because they make it so complex that they find it very difficult to follow it religiously at later point of time. Hi friends, welcome to my channel. I'm CA Shilpa Surana, and in our today's video we are going to discuss in 5 simple steps how you can develop a quick and easy financial plan that can reduce the complexities and increase the benefits that you gain out of it. So let's begin. There are 5 components which we will be talking about in today's video. First one is emergency fund planning, second one is insurance planning, third one is investment planning, fourth one is tax planning, and fifth one is retirement planning. So the first important component of the financial plan is an emergency fund. We should not undermine the importance of emergency fund and wait till the end after taking care of other components we create an emergency fund. It should not be like that. Emergency fund should be given the priority whereby you create the fund first and then move to the next segments of a financial plan. Now let's try to understand what is this emergency fund. Emergency fund is basically any money that you set aside for the uncertainties or emergencies that might occur in future, like critical illnesses or loss of job or accident, etc., which can impact your earning that you bring to the family. If you have an emergency fund which is set aside, you don't have to rely on others or ask for money from the others, so you can maintain your financial independence even in case of such crisis situation. One very good example for the same is this corona which we have been facing from 1 year. Because of this, there are lot many people who would have lost their jobs and were finding it very difficult to sustain their livelihood due to their losses of job. If an emergency fund is prepared, this can come to an aid in such situations, and you don't have to rely on other people for your livelihood basically. Hence, it is a very important and crucial part of any financial plan. Let's try to understand, once you know that you need to make an emergency fund, where should you keep such money or where should you park such money? There are 2 rules to note in that. First one is you should not park your money in any avenues which is volatile in nature, like share market, which keeps on fluctuating. It should not happen that once when you need the money and you want to withdraw it, you actually lose on your capital chunk also because you had invested there and the market is right now low. Okay, so do not invest or do not park your emergency fund in any avenue which is volatile, which keeps on increasing or have a lot of highs and lows. Okay, now the second important thing is you should park your emergency fund in any place which is liquid in nature. What do you mean by liquidity? Liquidity means how easily you can get back your money once you have put in there. Emergencies are uncertain things and you might need the money at any moment of time. It should not happen that you have to wait for a long time to get back such money. Suppose you invest your emergency funds in a real estate. Do you really think you will be able to get that money when you actually need it? I think the answer is no, and because it's going to be very difficult for you to get back that money. So do not invest in any places which is not liquid in nature or from where you find it very difficult to get back your money. Having understood that where you should be parking your money, or I would say where you should not park your money, let's understand what should be the value at which the emergency fund should be created. There is no fixed amount which I can give you that this is the value you should keep as an emergency fund. But as a general rule which you can adhere to is that 6 times your monthly expenditure should be set aside as an emergency fund. This would help you to survive for 6 months even in case of uncertain or unforeseen events which might impact your earnings. So if your suppose monthly expenditure, which includes groceries or house rents or children's education fees, if all those combined together is 30,000 rupees, you should set aside 6 into 30,000, that is 1,80,000 as your emergency fund. Now, having understood emergency fund, let's move to the second step, which is insurance planning. There is very simple trick for an insurance planning, but most people complicate it by taking lot of insurances. Let's try to understand first what are the types of insurances that you should be taking. There are two types. One is life insurance and one is medical insurance for critical illnesses. Please note, both of these insurances should be taken, but not for everybody. Let's try to understand who need an LIC in your family and who need a medical cover in your family. The golden rule for taking an LIC is take the LICs of the people who are earning member of your family. So if you are an earning member and your spouse is an earning member, please take the LIC for both the people who are earning in your family, because please note, by taking an LIC, you are trying to ensure that after you are gone, your family can still maintain the financial independence status and still continue their livelihood even in your absence. This is not taken to make profits in the future, right? So ensure that LICs are taken of all the earning members of the family. I'll come to the point that how much value should the LIC be taken for in the coming section of the video. But first, let's try to understand the medical insurance cover also. For whom you should take a medical insurance cover for critical illness. Please note, medical insurance cover should be taken of all the members of the family. It should not be restricted to the earning members only, because when a medical emergency comes, you need to take to hospital to whoever that person is in your family, and you know the bills of the hospitals are going to be so tremendous if the illness is actually very critical, that it can take toll on your pockets. To avoid such situations, medical insurance covers can come to an aid, whereby you don't have to take another loan or debt to get the medical treatment done. Medical insurances can come to your aid and hence should be taken of all the members of the family. Now, having understood for whom you should be taking LICs and medical covers, let's try to understand what should be the ideal value of which LICs or medical cover should be taken. For LICs, what you can follow is at least 10 times of the annual CTC, that is annual package or annual salary of the person who is an earning member of the family should be taken. So if you are an earning member of the family, suppose, and you earn 10 lakhs rupees per year, 10 times of that, that is 1 crore rupees, should be your LIC cover value. And that is the bare minimum, I'm telling you. You can take more if you can afford it actually, but bare minimum for 10 years, you should try to ensure that your family can survive even after you are gone. Okay, so 10 times of your annual salary package, that is a bare minimum. Now coming to the medical cover. Medical cover should be taken basis the medical history of the family, medical history of the person of whose cover you are taking. So there is no such value which I can give you that you should take a medical cover of so and so value. But considering all those factors, you can better evaluate that how much medical cover is needed for a particular person, and accordingly you should get insured, right? So this is about insurance planning. Coming to the third phase, which is investment planning. Most of the people confuses the word investment with savings. Please try to understand, friends, that investment is actually very different from the savings. Savings means even if you save money and keep it in locker, it is a saving. But is that an investment? No. Does that grow for itself? No. In fact, money that you're keeping in locker is actually reducing its value because of the inflation that is there. So, if your 100 rupees note which you have kept in locker a year back could have purchased 1 kg of rice, in current situation probably cannot purchase 1 kg of rice because now the cost will be 105, for example, right? So this clearly shows that the money has reduced its value. What it could have done 1 year back, it cannot do right now. Hence, saving money and keeping it at the locker will not help you to grow your funds. For that, you actually need to invest. Now the question comes, where to invest. For that, there are various options available like share market, mutual funds, bonds, gold, real estate. Invest in anything which you understand. That is the golden rule. Do not invest anywhere because somebody is giving you some tips that this is going to rise or this is going to fall, so go invest there or anything. Invest where you understand. Whether it is share market or mutual funds, do not invest before understanding. Also, don't try to put all your eggs in one basket, which means don't try to put all your investment in share market or mutual fund or real estate. You should maintain a healthy balance in your portfolio where you're dividing your investments in different avenues. Okay. Also, you should take care of what is your risk appetite. If you are some person who is risk aggressive, can think of investing more in share market. But if you are a person who is a risk averse, who likes to take less risk, you can probably invest in FD also. It purely depends on how much risk you are willing to take. There is a saying that higher the risk, higher the probable returns. But you should keep in mind your risk appetite and accordingly you should be investing. Now, having understood that where you can invest, the question arises, how much can you invest? For that, ideally, at least 20% of your salary should be invested. So if you are earning a lakh of rupees, at least 20,000 you can invest and create a portfolio wherein you are invested in multiple things, but at least 20% of your salary should be invested. And this 20% should increase as and when your salary is increasing, because you are getting more in hand, right? So your investment should also increase. If this is the thing that you follow religiously and with complete discipline, you can make good amount of money in long term. Please note, earlier you start investing in your life, the more you can enjoy the compounding benefit in the future. And there is no limit that minimum you have to invest 10,000. Okay, you can start with 500 rupees and keep on increasing as your salary increases. But please ensure that at least 20% you are saving. Coming to the fourth component, which is tax planning. Here, I'm not talking about a hardcore tax planning with you being aware of all the sections and provisions of the income tax. No, but at least try to have a basic understanding of the tax regime, like which one is more beneficial, the new one or the old one for you, and the basic exemptions that you can avail or the basic deductions that you can avail, like 80C or 80D or 80CCD, which is for NPS. So please take the benefits of those and try to put money in those avenues so that you can get the deductions and you can save some taxes. Okay. Now coming to the fifth component, which is retirement planning. Retirement planning is something that you should be doing from the day you have started earning. But this section is so neglected in our society that when people actually retire, they end up having very less funds in their hand, which they can use, in their retirement period. This is absolutely wrong or incorrect approach, guys. I mean, please start planning for your retirement. Start estimating that what amount you are looking forward to when you retire at whatever age you are planning. Maybe it is a 50 years or maybe it is 60 years, but what amount do you expect? Until you plan for your retirement, how are you going to retire early? Tell me. So please plan for your retirement from the day you start earning, and if you have not done that, then please start it today. Please estimate that whatever amount you are expecting to receive in the future and accordingly start saving now. There's a very one good avenue where you can invest for your retirement planning, and that is NPS, National Pension Scheme. And I can give you the link in the description box wherein you can check basis what amount you are expecting in the future, how much should you invest today. This will actually help you to determine that what should be your ideal savings for your future so that you can enjoy when you are retired. Alright. So please do not undermine it, and please do contribute for your retirement from an early age to enjoy a later point of time. So that is about retirement planning. Now, since you have watched my video till this point of time, you actually deserve one bonus tip from me. And that bonus tip is, I want to tell you that how nature teaches us how much we should be saving in our life. Okay? You have seen trees, right? Trees gives us fruits. okay, which we can eat and enjoy. And once we are done eating, we can sow the seeds of those fruits and get the benefit of from the same in the future. Our savings should also be like that. Please note, if instead of the seed you think about saving the whole fruit for your future, will you be actually successful? Even if you plant it today, the whole fruit, I'm telling you, what will happen in underground? It will get rotten, okay? There are high possibility that you might not enjoy it in the future also, because it's so rotten and it does not grow, okay? So please understand one thing, that in saving is very important part. Investment is very important part in our life, but it should not be to an extent that you are compromising to a great level in your present. That means investment should be a portion of your total earnings, but not your total earnings should be taken as an investment. Please try to enjoy the current moment also. Don't compromise on your life because you are struggling to save as much as possible for the future. That's all guys from my side. If you liked my video, please do like, share and subscribe. I really enjoyed making this video for you guys. I hope you enjoy watching it too. And also this adds value and you guys prepare a financial plan for yourself. Do let me know in the comment section below. How did you find this video? Stay home, stay safe. Thank you guys. Bye.